So here we are at a game against Magnus 1000, or Ski Magnus. And I got to tell you, any kind of Magnus is a Magnus. So we're going to be playing against him, and let's just review the game. I already played and won. Here's the accuracy between the two and the moves. 11 best moves, 10 pretty much equal. Excellent, I had a little more, but the other stuff was pretty serious. We both had 4 inaccuracies. So let's, my standard pawn opening, king's pawn, and then I like to get everything out, knights first and then bishops. But he plays aggressively. But I, wanted to kick his bishop out of the way, so I put a pawn there, so he had to either do something. So he took. Great. So then he brings out his knight. I bring up my pawn so that I can free up my bishops. He puts his knight back. That's inexplicable. That shouldn't be. So there's the recommendation. I take the pawn up. I didn't want to do that. And so I went and threatened his pawn with my bishop at g5. And then he threatened my bishop. He wanted to kick my bishop out of the way. So I didn't want to do that. So I took his knight. He took with his queen, which is fine. And then I got ready to go have a little fun with my bishop. I got it out of the back row. And then he moved up his pawn. I castled. And then he is putting his rook in front. I know that, don't worry too much if the database says that a move of yours is not really good. If you know it's a good move because you have a reason and a plan for it, no problem. And Magnus probably had a reason for that plan when he moved his rook right there. So it was right in front of my king. Seems good. So I moved my pawn up. Well, I did that to protect it. It was unprotected here. And the queen, it just bothered me. So I moved that up for that. It moved his knight down. Moved my queen up because I have a plan. And he moves his pawn down right here. And then I get my rook out because I want to control this entire corridor. And that comes in really handy in a few minutes. So he moves his pawn down. There's really nothing I can do. I thought about taking it because I have my queen and the knight. But he has his rook and his knight in the same square. There's really nothing I could do to take that pawn. So I put my knight down, and because there is a free pawn here that I can take if he doesn't do anything. And he moved his rook over sideways, not sure why. So I went over there and did take the free pawn. And then he moves his king, which I'm not sure why. And then I moved my queen so that the bishop and the queen can see each other. And then he moves to threaten my bishop. It's not really a threat because it's protected by my queen. Nevertheless, I move here and give him a chance to trade bishops. And I took his bishop. And it caused, he took it with his king. Not sure if he should have done that or take it with his bishop. Now then, I moved my king over, and the database questioned it when I did that. But I had a reason. I didn't like the queen in front of this pawn to make it where I couldn't move my pawn. So he moves his rook up. Not sure why. Database isn't sure why either. I move my rook up, but the reason I'm doing it is so I can move my rook over here and have double jeopardy on this column. So then he moves his pawn up. And I think I decide just to leave it. So I put my pawn here because if he takes and I take, then this rook can control this whole corridor too. And maybe I could go on this king here, on this row here, and cause trouble for his king. His king would have to move here, and then I would get a free rook. That's kind of what I had in mind when I did that. So he moves his knight there, and thankfully I noticed he was threatening my queen, and I moved my queen out of the way. If you move your queen on the same color, like if it's on a light square and you move it on the light square, the knight cannot threaten it on the very next move. He has to take 2 moves to threaten it. But if I had put it instead, say up here, he could have taken his knight and put it there, and it would have threatened me on the very next move, because he could have just threatened me here, and of course my rook would have taken him, but still, that's just something to keep in mind. So he moves his queen over there. He's kind of threatening my pawn. Not really, because it's protected by here. I don't know why he did that. So then I moved my queen here, which is considered a bad move. Missed an opportunity to kick a knight. Well, sure, but I'm kind of happy with the knight there. It's not causing me enough trouble. And then I have a lot of power over this particular corridor. So he takes my pawn, I take, and that opens up this corridor, kind of what I hoped I would have. And then he moves his pawn up. And then I move my pawn up maybe. No, he moves his pawn down, sorry. And then that was just the suggested move. So then I decide to take the other route once he starts playing with the pawns here like that. Moves his rook up. So I move my rook to put him in check, and that's considered a great move. And it wins a knight, it says. So then he moves his king into a nice protected area. So I move my pawn up, and then I'm going to have a discovered check, which I love. In a minute, well, no, I didn't get a discovered check, sorry. And then I threatened his knight, and his queen moved there. It says unexplainable, but surely the queen was going to try to move down here or something. Not sure why. So then I take with this pawn. Not sure how smart that was. Then he takes with his rook. I take with this rook, and now the king is in check and in a lot of trouble, really. So he moves there, and then if I move my queen over, which is, I think that's what I did, I'm able to protect my rook, and then he threatens my rook. Who cares? I move my rook, and it is curtains. Checkmate. So if you look at the, can you see that okay? You can. So if you look at the analysis, I played like a 1050, and he played like an 800. My ELO has fallen to 977. I've lost a few games in a row. I should probably publish those and go through the analysis and see what happened. But nevertheless, it was a fun game, and I highly recommend you go and play the Magnus bots on chess.com. They're just a lot of fun, and I hope to work my way up and see how high I can get and publish those games as well. Thank you for watching. You've made this chess channel possible. It's incredible. Thanks for doing that. It's just amazing that you that you do that. So thank you. And thanks for your support and your comments and your suggestions. I've had several suggestions that have been really on point and very exciting and very helpful. So I appreciate that. And I look forward to hearing from you. And I'll check you later.